All right, good evening. I am back as I promised. Uh, I did a video earlier that got erased. Whole full 10-minute video gone. So anyway, we regroup, right? Okay, so I left off at my response to my mother when she asked how I was doing. I think the next day I obviously I was in the hospital for a few days, recovering from surgery. People came up there to see me and just couldn't believe how well I was doing, because we all thought I thought I'd be devastated once I found out, but God's grace just completely shielded me. To be honest, and this is funny but not funny. Um, there were times after the fact, like over the last few years, that I would almost try to think about it and just, as Ayanna Van Zandt would say, to sit in it, to get all the feelings and try to make myself cry, and it didn't happen. I was like, you're weird. But that's how, I mean, it really is a testimony of the keeping power of God. Like when I think about people going through cancer, number one, without support, without family, without friends, maybe stuck in their house, have to call their insurance to get rides and stuff like that. I it really saddens me, and it motivates me to get my nonprofit done. But when I think about people going through it without God, y'all some kind of tough, because I literally would not be sane. I would not be sane had it not been for God carrying me through. Okay, so you stop talking with my hands like this. So fast forward. Yeah. So here we are. Here we are. The pandemic has started, and this is kind of why you'll see why I'm saying I shouldn't be saying. The pandemic is just starting, and the doctor schedules my first chemotherapy on April 6th. April 6th is my birthday, and 2020 I turned 40. So I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that on my birthday. It was every Monday, and so he's like, you're dealing with a super aggressive cancer and you can't delay it. It's like, wow. So he set me up, as soon as I could. He told me I needed to get started. So I was like, okay, let me do my 40th birthday before then, a week before. Well, we were quarantined. Nobody could, with my dad being older, and there being at that time a baby in the house, and it was too much. So no party for me. And April 6th, 2024, here I am turning 40, can no longer have a baby. Early menopause has began, and I'm having chemo done, and nobody can come with me. I said, okay, Jesus. And I'm going to post pictures of that day later on, because to see me, you wouldn't believe what I was going through. I'm telling y'all, I can't make this stuff up. God carried me. Like, I should have been somewhere, banging my head against the wall, or I don't want to get graphic because I know that's sensitive for people, but seriously, I shouldn't be saying. So my brother came over, my older brother came over, brought a big old boom box, and was singing Crash Cut version of Happy Birthday. I'm not gonna do it. I was about to do it, but I'm not gonna do it. And the whole family was out there, and I was saying hi to my nieces, from inside the house. It was all kinds of wrong, but I'm sure I wasn't the only one turning 40 that year. Probably the only one getting chemo on their birthday turning 40. I'd like to research that. I probably was the only one. But so I went to do chemo, came back, and then they had a surprise Zoom celebration for me, which was really nice. And we had a nice dinner, and that was that. So the a couple videos, I think maybe the first or second video I mentioned my brother and his dealing with bipolar. And the reason why I even brought that up is because when we all moved together into the house, into this house in Warren, he moved with us. And so I was still, it wasn't as severe as it was, but I still was afraid of him. And so with COVID happening and everything, and people being quarantined and just life happening, it got to a point where he was showing signs of having a manic episode again. And again, he's given me permission to share this, but I know somebody else can relate to this. Maybe not in my specific situation, but dealing with a sibling that is dealing with mental health issues and feeling afraid of them. Now, my family knows about this now after the fact, but I did not tell them at the time that I was afraid of him. So here I am going through cancer, the whole turning 40, can't have kids. And I was literally sleeping. I had to have a knife up to my door at night. That's how afraid I was. Yes, I'm saved, filled with the Holy Spirit, walk with Jesus, but I was legit afraid of what he could do in that state. So, he actually ended up, later on, some weeks, maybe a month later, I don't know, my timeline is a little bit off, but he ended up, having an episode, and, we had to take him to the hospital again and get on meds and stuff. But, y'all, when I tell you, God has done the miraculous. That was the last episode he's had. That was a little over 3 years ago. He just celebrated the 3-year mark, and he has not had an episode since. And him and I are, back close. I'm about to go into, gotta post this first, but I'm gonna go into the next video and expound a little bit more on mental health and a little bit more of a testimony to where we are today currently in 2024. Stay tuned.